Good morning to all. Our first class of ethical hacking starts today. First, let us see the topics in our first module. It starts with the definition of ethical hacking. Then we go to malicious software like viruses, worms, Trojan programs, spyware, adware, etc. Then we see protection methods, network and system attacks like denial of service, distributed denial of service, buffer overflow, ping of death, session hijacking, brute force attack, man in the middle attack, dictionary attack, and replay attack. So, by analyzing the topics in the first module, we can see that it mainly deals with the threats or the type of attacks that a system may face. So after the definition of ethical hacking, everything is related to the attacks, uh, the attack type of uh, germs we can say. In biological terms, we usually say germs, anything that penetrates into our human body or live body can be termed as a germ. So similar to that, we have very various germs. We generally call them as malicious software because it is usually not possible to add any malicious hardware into our system without our permission. That means physically our system would be in the hand of some other hackers in order to install a new hardware into our system. That is almost impossible, but in the case of software there is no need of physically attaining our computer system in order to make a software attack. Why? Because there are many ways to get connected with our system by through internet and through other removable medias like flash drive and all. So, in the world of cyber environment, we can say that attacks are mainly from software side. Attacks through hardware part, that means any malicious hardware is installed into our system. The chance of getting installed such system is very less. So we mainly deals with malicious software. You may be knowing the meaning of malicious mal. We in short we call malicious software malware. Malware is a usual term we usually use to denote malicious software. Just like software, hardware, firmware, etc., we have malware also. Software is something which is a wearable part of the computer, which is soft in nature. Similarly, hardware, it is a wearable part of the computer which is hard in nature. Similarly, firmware, you might have heard about it. Something like a ROM, we can say that they are firmware. Why? Because once software or program is written into the ROM, it is not usually possible to reprogram. There are many other versions of ROM which are programmable, but in the case of general ROM, normal ROM, we can say that it is not rewritable. It is read-only memory. So that's the case. So similar to that, similar to software, hardware and firmware, we have malware, that is malicious ware. Malicious means bad things. No, that means something which causes harm to our system, that is malicious software or malware in short. So after that we go to inspect various kinds of attacks like denial of service, distributed denial of service. These kinds of attacks you can usually see in websites. Whenever we refer to one website, if it is showing that server is busy or something like that, then there is a chance of getting that server hacked. Why? Because of these kinds of attacks like DOS, this denial of service, distributed denial of service. Denial of service, that means service will be blocked temporarily for a a particular amount of time till the server gets recovered from the attack. Similar to that, there are many other attacks also. So this first module focuses on main threats to a computer system. Now we move on to our topics in first module in detail. Before going to ethical hacking, we will see what is hacking. Hacking is a general term, refers to getting access into a computer system, mainly a computer system. We can say that entry into any system which in an unauthorized way can be called as hacking, but as our focus is computer system, we deal with the attacks into a computer system. So here hacking generally refers to an entry, an unauthorized entry, intrusion into a computer system, usually through a network. So both system, when we say a system, a computer system, it doesn't mean a desktop computer or a server or a laptop computer alone. It deals with every parts related to our computer system. That means networks are also part of our computer system. Database servers, they are part of our computer system. Software, hardware, and everything are part of our computer system. So we are not considering a single system alone. We are not considering a home computer alone. This hacking is usually done on huge organization like government organization or private organization where many computers are connected using network. So a hacking can happen either to a single system or or many systems connected on a network. So we can say that attack and unauthorized intrusion or unauthorized attack or unauthorized entry into um, the computer system of a organization can be called as hacking. The person engaged in hacking activities is known as hacker by default. That is a thing. The person, usually it will be a person who is making all these kinds of software, that means malware. Malware may be created by a person once, but that attack will get continued till it is detected or till it is destroyed by security persons. So once it is created, it can continue its process till it dies, that malware dies. Till then this malware works for the hacker, and usually malware attacks the destination computer and steals information from it and hands over this information to the hacker through network itself. So this is totally hacking, and this hacker may alter system or security features to accomplish a goal that differs from the original purpose of the system. So generally we can say that hacking is such an unauthorized entry or intrusion into the system with an aim that the system is working differently from what it is actually made for. So this is hacking, and now we will see what are the types of hackers. Usually there are mainly two types of hackers, as we see in the last class, white hat and black hat hackers, and in between that we have many other type of hackers. One of the popular middle type of attacker is gray hat attacker or gray hat hacker. And apart from these three we have many other types also, and we have one type of attacker, namely red hat attacker, who attacks black hat hackers. Okay, so we will start with white hat hackers. As we know, this category of hackers are otherwise known as ethical hackers. That is our main focus of study here in this syllabus. So we will be concentrating on white hat hackers alone after this type of hackers. After dealing with this type of hackers, we will not see any other type of hackers later in the syllabus. We will focus only on white hat hackers. So they are considered as cybersecurity experts. They are having a good face only. They are having good intention only. They don't attack any system with bad intentions. They conduct attack not usually in an unauthorized way. They usually uh, go for authorized way to get access into a particular system, but it is also a type of attack. Why? Because we have created a security system for our system, for our entire computer system, including network. But this hacker, whether it be white hat or black hat or gray hat or any other type of hacker, he is trying to intrude into the system. That means not through the way one particular person is allowed to enter, but here he or she is trying to find out some unauthorized way to get access into the system. That is meant by intrusion. Not intrusion is something that is trying to enter into a system not through the designated entry. There will be usually an authorized type of entry or a way to enter into a system, but hackers are trying to enter into the system through some unauthorized way. So this kind of white hat hackers, they are cyber security experts. They must be cyber security experts. Why? Because they should know all the aspects of the security system and the computer system, and ways to penetrate into the computer system through authorized and unauthorized way. Usually entry through an authorized way is not considered as penetration. So entry through an unauthorized way is considered as intrusion or penetration. So he must be skillful to do this. And his intention is not bad. He usually works for a government firm, that means as part of police or a investigation agency, or with organization, private organizations, to find out the cyber security pitfalls or the drawbacks of their system in place. So these white hat hackers are having good intention only. Even though the attack and penetrate the current existing security system of a computer system, he is having only good aim only. So his mode of operation is he performs penetration testing and identifying loopholes. He will examine the whole system for finding out the weak points of the security system, and he tries to employ some ways to get an unauthorized access through that weak point. They even do other methodologies and ensure protection from black hat hackers and other malicious cyber crimes. Why they are performing all these kinds of attacks? Uh, Means they are trying to block attacks from the black hat hackers later. That means in future there can be an attack from a black hat hacker. So a white hat hacker will try to hack the system and try to inform the corresponding personnel to make necessary changes so that no black hat hacker will attack this system in future. So he is trying to find out all the loopholes, all the weak points of the security system in place, and he will inform the respective personnel in the company, and they will modify the computer system or the security system if needed, and they are thus they are making the computer system safe from the attack from black hat hackers in future. So this is happening for a white hat hacker. Now we will move on to black hat hacker. As we know, they are having not good intention; they are having bad intention. They will similar to our white hat hacker. They will try to intrude into our system through unauthorized way itself, but it is not with the permission of the persons concerned. They are not getting any permission from the uh, responsible person from the company or the organization which owns the security system or the computer system. So these black hat hackers, they are trying to attack the um, security system or the computer system of an organization without their permission. But in case of white hat hackers, they are getting permission from the persons or persons concerned in the organization to perform attacks. But in the case of black hat hackers, without permission, without getting permission, or without making um, any evidence or any uh, without getting any information, without getting any permission from the uh, persons concerned, they are trying to conduct attacks, black hat hackers. And in the view of law, they are culprits. They are punishable actually for their activities. Why? Because they are doing everything. They are attacking the system without proper concern, without proper permission. You might have heard from newspapers and other medias that particular computer systems of a particular organization or a government have been or had been attacked uh, by hackers. So whenever we uh, hear such um, news, we can confirm that they are black hat hackers. Why? Because white hat hackers will do everything with the permission of the persons concerned. But in the case of black hat, they are not doing with the permission of the persons concerned. So whenever we hear about an attack, we must think that they are black hat hackers in nature. You might have heard that 2 or 3 years back, our TE Kerala website itself was hacked by hackers, but fortunately, they didn't steal any data from our TE Kerala. They just shown their one message on the website of TE Kerala that TE Kerala system has been attacked. That's all. Even though they are having bad intention, then that means without permission they entered into our system. They didn't do anything harmful to us. They didn't. They just showed the um, message stating that this site has been attacked. That's all. So black hat hackers. They have the agenda mainly monetary. That means they will blackmail the owners of the system they have attacked. After gaining the access into our computer system, they will go for bargaining. We need this much money to stop hacking, otherwise we will steal all the data and we will publish it in the public domain, etc. They will say like that. Okay, so their main motive is getting monetary benefit. um, that is a case of black hat hackers. So if we have proper security measures and white hat hackers in place, then there is such a less chance for getting hacked by the black hat hackers. So while designing or while creating or while establishing an organization with so many computer systems and having vital information stored in the computer system, we must take care of all these things. Cyber security is the most important thing we have to take care of. Otherwise, our entire system will collapse soon. Why? Because these black hat hackers are searching in the whole cyber world to find out which organization has weakest cyber security systems so that they can make attacks easily and gain access into that and go for bargaining. And in between this white and black we can see a gray hat hackers. Okay, so we can say that they are partially they are like white hat hackers and partially they are like black hat hackers. That means a hacker who hacks into an organization and finds some vulnerability, and some weak points, and may leak it over the internet or information, inform the organization about it. So, depending upon the activity they are doing after attacking, we can classify them either as white hat or black hat. If they are leaking the information and publishing it on internet or cyber world, we can consider them as black hat hackers. If they are not doing so and if they are informing the persons concerned in the organization about these weak points or the vulnerability they have penetrated through, then we can classify them as white hat hackers. So it depends on the gray. We can classify a hacker into gray hat category depending upon the activity he or she is following after performing the attack. If they are leaking the information, stealing the information, and utilizing it for bad activities, malicious activities, then we can classify them as black hat hackers. Otherwise, if their intention is good and if they are informing the corresponding personals in the organization, then they are white hat hackers in nature. Okay. So if a company is informed about their vulnerability, normally those gray hat hackers, that means white hat hackers, will be paid usually. Okay. So these white hat hackers are not working without payment; they are getting paid a huge amount. Okay. Why? Because this security is a vital thing that has to be considered as far as an organization is concerned. So they are getting a huge amount as payment. Now, because a great hacker doesn't use his skills for personal gain, he is not a black hat hacker. Also, because he is not legally authorized to hack the organization's cyber security, he can't be considered a white hat hacker. So, gray are not completely white. They are neither completely white nor completely black. Why? Because they don't have any permission to perform any attack. But if their intention is good, we can consider them partially as white hat hackers. But if they are not doing so, we can consider them as black hat hackers. Okay, that's all about main three types of hackers: white, black, and gray. Now comes certain kinds of hackers who are less skillful. This white, black, and gray are highly skilled hackers, but in the case of script kiddies and green hat hackers, blue hat hackers, they are not so much skilled. Okay, we will see them each one of them in detail. So, what about script kiddies? Kiddies. From that name itself, we can say that we can see that they are kids in nature. But in the case of hacking, they are kids. Their skill is comparatively less. Okay. So script kiddies, this is a term often used by amateur hackers. Amateur means skill-less hackers um, who don't care much about the coding skills. They are not able to create any codes to perform the attack, but instead they are depending upon white hat hacker or black hat hacker, usually black hat hacker, to get codes to perform an attack. So they are getting this script or the code to perform an attack from a skillful attacker, and they are trying to make some kind of attacks, usually weak types of attacks on security systems. Okay. So they are not making code of their own. They are stealing code from skillful hackers and perform attack based on it. Usually it will be of less strength. Those attacks will be weak in nature. Their main motive is not to get any monetary benefit. Their main purpose is to impress their friends or relatives or somebody around him. So they are just showing off that they are also hackers. I have attacked this computer, or I have attacked the computer of this particular system, and I have gained this information. Just like that, they are not having any bad intention as a black hat hacker, but they are just getting they are doing all these things just for getting a fame. Okay, to becoming a hero in his friends community or a relatives community. That's all. So that's the case of script kiddies. Now in script kiddies itself, we can say that they are the normal kind of attacks that script kiddies do perform fall into the category of denial of service. That means, as I have said earlier, if a site is shown that it is busy, or it is not capable of dealing with your query, then we can say that web server is attacked by denial of service attack. That means the nature of denial of service is like this. An attacker mm, makes as many requests as possible and tries to overload the web server, so that this web server will be incapable of dealing the genuine requests from other users. So this attacker itself make this web server overloaded with as many requests as possible. So this web server will be not in a position to give answer to the queries from other genuine users. That is a denial of service. Now the next category of attacker, they are green hat hackers. These are also amateurs like script kiddies. And they have a major difference. That is, these have high desire to become a professional hackers, ethical hacker, or a white hat hacker, or a black hat hacker. Unlike script kiddies are doing all these kinds of attacks just for becoming a hero. That's all. But in the case of green hat hacker, they are amateur in nature, but they are trying to become experts in the hacking profession. So even though they are amateurs now, they are acquiring more and more skills to become a skillful attacker in near future. We can identify them by their spark to grow and learn more about the hacking trade. So they will be continue making research on finding out new and new ways or new tools to conducting attack. Like script kiddies, they are just stealing the code or script to perform attack, and they don't have any research intention. But in the case of green hat, they are trying to become full-fledged attackers in near future. So they will be engaged in these experimental activities always. They will be polishing their hacking skills every time. Now comes the last type of amateur hacker, that they are blue hat hackers. They are also amateur hackers or novice hackers. Their main agenda is to take revenge on anyone who makes them angry. That is the main thing. In the case of script kiddies, they are just doing it for becoming a hero. In the case of green, they are trying to become full-fledged hackers. But in the case of blue hat hackers, they are not doing anything for getting name. not for doing, not for becoming an expert in hacking profession, but instead if they have revenge on somebody, they will try to hack the system of that person. That's all. Okay. So he tries to attack systems of his enemies usually. Okay, so that's all about all these kinds of main three kinds of hackers, and three kinds of amateur hackers, script kiddies, green and blue hat hackers. Now comes the last category of red hat hacker, red hat hackers. Okay, these can be considered as white hat hackers to a certain extent. Why? Because red hat hackers are attacking black hat hackers. These white hat hackers are trying to defend attacks from the black hat hackers, while red hat hackers are attacking black hat hackers and trying to kill them, trying to stop their activities. That's the main feature of red hat hackers. They are not having bad intention. That means they are trying to break out the black hat hackers. In that way, we can say that they are having bad intention, trying to kill or trying to destroy somebody is bad. In that point of view, we can say that red hat hackers are having bad intention. They are trying to destroy black hat hackers, but destroying black hat hackers ultimately results in uh, in a good it's good for the whole society actually. Killing thieves or culprits is good for the society. In the similar way, this as black hat hackers are culprits in the view of law, we can say that red hat hackers are doing good for the society. But even if one person kills culprit, the killing person itself is becoming a culprit. Okay, if we kill a thief, then we are also a culprit. Okay, so in the similar way, red hat hackers are also culprits, but they are attacking red hat hackers alone, means black hat hackers alone. Okay, so for a society they are doing good, but as far as the law is concerned, they are also doing um, bad. Okay, so they have the agenda similar to white hat hackers. That means they are trying to not to defend the attack from the black hat hacker, but they are trying to destroy them completely. Mm, okay, so that's all about red hat hackers. So we saw white hat hacker. They are good in every aspect of life. They are very good. Black hat hackers, they are not at all good. Grey hat hackers, depending upon their intention, they can be either good or bad. Then comes the amateur attackers, script kiddies. They are not they are not doing um, attacks with a bad intention, just to getting name or becoming a hero in their community. Then green, even though they are not having much skills now, they are trying to polish their skills every time. And in the case of blue hat hackers, um, they are also amateurs, and in the case of red hat hackers, they are attacking black hat hackers. Okay, now we will see general ways or general methods that an attacker usually follow in order to make an attack. We can consider their methods or their uh, way they usually use to conduct attack using many terms. Then they are sniffing. First one is sniffing. This is one way to perform an attack. Sniff, that means manaka, just like mm, or police dogs. They are trying to find out the proofs by sniffing. In the similar way, here this kind of attacks is also uh, done in the similar way. Sniffing is the practice of gathering, collecting, and logging some or all packets that pass through a computer network, regardless of how the packet is addressed. We all know that a communication happens either through wired or wireless media, as we have learned in the data communication subject in the last sem. Um, Things are being transferred from one place to another either through wired or wireless media. Um, in both cases, we can conduct sniffing attack through hardware or software measures. Anyway, this is a way of stealing information or getting information from this either wireless or wired media, mm, and trying to get vital information from it. Okay, we know that these information are passed as packets in higher levels. In physical layer, you can say that signals are getting passed, but in the upper layer, that means data link layer, this data is considered as datagrams. That means the whole message is divided into manageable unit, they are known as datagrams. And in the next higher level, that of network layer, we consider the message as packets. So a message is divided into packets in the network layer, then they are subdivided into datagrams in data link layer, and finally they are passed in the form of signals in the physical layer. So whenever this attacker, this sniffer, attacks the physical media of the transmission, either wired or wireless, he or she is getting many signals, and these signals can be considered as datagrams, and over it we consider them as packets. So once they get this packet, they get the access to the packets, they are trying to steal the information from it. And if some vital information like password or other some credit card information or similar something, if they get some information like that, they will use this information for performing attacks. Once a password is with the hacker, then it is very easy to hack the account, let it be a bank account or social media account or anything. Then it is very easy to conduct an attack. So this is a mode of operation of sniffing. Okay, sniffing is one kind of such attack, sniffing. Okay. So there are two main types of packet sniffers. They are hardware packet sniffer and software packet sniffers. We can deploy any kind of sniffing mechanism in order to get the information from the transmission media. Okay. Once the data is available with the hacker, he directly he suddenly goes for the attack. Now second one is especially related to password attackers, password attacking, that means password crackers. This type of attack is designed to take credential data stolen in a data breach or other hack and extract password from it. Usually we know that these password or vital information are not passed directly. That means either on transmission or on storage, they are not stored as such. If you have a password, it will be encrypted to some other form. You might have heard this term encryption. Encryption is the way of making our vital information secure. That means they will not be stored or transferred as such. If you have a password like ABC, one simple technique to encrypt this is replacing each of these letters by the very next character in alphabetic sequence. That means if you are having password A B C, it will be replaced. A will be replaced by B, B will be replaced by C, and C will be replaced by D. Okay, so this is one way of one small way of doing encryption or making the password or data safe. That means A is replaced by next character in the alphabetic sequence. Okay, and B is replaced by C. C is coming next, and after C we have D. So our ABC password is replaced as BCD, or A. If suppose that we are having a password A, C, and E, okay, it will be replaced by B, D, and F. Why? Because after A comes a B, after C comes D, after E comes F. So our new password will be, that means encrypted password will be BCF. By getting this BCF, an attacker cannot make any attack, because BCF itself is not our password. Our actual password is ACE. So usually these hackers will be knowing that these passwords are not stored or transmitted in their actual form. It will be in encrypted form. So they will perform uh, some kind of operation in order to recover this password from the encrypted form first. Okay, so they have to get the encrypted data stolen first, then they will do some kind of activities, they are known as in decryption. If he is having if he succeed in that, then he will get the actual password, otherwise he will not get the actual one. So that is a password hackers. The main one of the main technique to perform encryption is hashing. Hashing is something like locking a door with a key. In hashing or encryption technique, we have a set of data called key, using which we are encrypting our actual data. So just like locking a door using key, that means securing a house or a almirah or a shelf using a key, uh, that means the same key is needed to open that door. Okay, otherwise we have to break the door. But here breaking the encrypted message is not possible usually. By why? Because it is so strong. So anyway we need a key. We can guess a key, or if we get the actual key, then we can open it safely. Otherwise, once we try to break the entire encrypted message, then it will result in a failure. So attacker either need a key, actual key, stolen from somewhere else, otherwise they must guess the key. Okay, so this is a simple technique for doing encryption. It is not as simple as stated now. It is a complicated task, and once you get the chance to um, know about the encryption, you must go through the hashing technique in detail. So now it is now the time to describe about the hashing technique in detail. So this is the password cracking attack, and there are different categories for this password cracking attack. They are a dictionary attack. That means I told you that um, we are trying to guess the actual data. That means usually if we use ABC or something related to our date of birth, we usually give our password in that way. We usually add our first name, then we may usually use our date of birth, or our phone number may be the password. So in that way an attacker can guess the password easily if they are some dictionary word. Okay, so next one is brute force guessing attack. That means here widely guessing your passwords and trying to um, intrude into your system. Okay, and next one is hybrid attack. He is mixing different types of methods to guess your password. So first one is if we are using dictionary words, that means something like our name, phone number, or date of birth, or something similar, then the attacker can easily guess it. Second one is brute force. That means he is trying all the ways widely he is guessing the passwords and trying to ensure that trying to make sure that this is a password. And the third one is hybrid. Both these ways can be mixedly used. We will see the remaining techniques in the next class.